So, good morning, everybody. Lindsay pointed out that I don't promote this too much, but I am Dr. Amy Lash Esau. I do have a PhD, and that may be one thing that sets me apart from some of the other folks that work with nonprofits, with grant writing and program evaluation. My business is Connecting Points Consulting, and I've got some questions for you. How many of you volunteer in some capacity? Okay. How many of you have ever volunteered? If you haven't, have you ever volunteered? So, good. All right. Why? Why do you volunteer? Civic duty.
Give back.
Give back.
I do it for like Alzheimer's for my family because I want an end to Alzheimer's, so that's why.
Okay. So cause and into cause, or okay.
It just resonates with me, whatever I volunteer for.
Resonates with you.
I just think we need to do it. I don't have a society, we need to be doing
Okay.
it. My kids about volunteers.
Okay. Great.
You
So
actually give back more than you give.
right. So what do you gain by it? You said you get back more than you give. What do you gain by volunteering?
I think you get the satisfaction of knowing that you have contributed something worthwhile and beneficial.
So the satisfaction of contributing something worthwhile and beneficial.
Expecting nothing in return.
Right,
Right.
expecting nothing in return, but it's a nice surprise that you feel good about
Right.
what you're doing. What else do you gain by it?
It helps the heart.
It helps the heart,
Knowing that you might have helped somebody.
right? Knowing that you might have helped somebody. So do you volunteer alone or do you end up volunteering with other people?
Oh,
Usually groups. Typically, yeah, right. And so how does volunteering with somebody affect your attitude towards them?
It creates great relationships.
Creates great-
Lifelong friendships.
Creates, and I'm saying this for the benefit of the video here, creates great relationships, lifelong relationships. What else? Your attitude towards the people that you volunteer with.
You're like-minded.
Okay, you're like-minded, common goal.
You have more understanding of that particular cause.
Okay, understanding and empathy for the cause. So now imagine engaging together in a volunteer effort and what that can do for employees in a company. You know, you were just talking maybe random people personally, but when you think about employees in a company volunteering together, think about what might happen and keep those benefits in mind. I'm going to switch to the mission of Connecting Points Consulting, which is partnering with nonprofits for grant writing, program evaluation, fractional leadership, partnering with businesses to maximize strategic community engagement, and connecting them with each other for the benefit of all. My previous presentation in December was focused on the nonprofit side, but this morning I want to talk about the business aspect of Connecting Points Consulting. So many people think of community engagement as simply either giving money or volunteering, and broadly, that's the case. But there's so much more, and I want to dig into that a little bit this morning. A business with a strong community engagement program can attract and retain higher quality talent. How many of you know that there's a talent pool issue going on right now? That it's hard for employers to attract people and retain people. Well, an article in Forbes magazine noted that millennials look at a company's community engagement plan when taking a job. And I would say not just millennials, but it's interesting to note that millennials kind of get a bad rap and for being self-centered, but really they are going to look a lot of times at the community engagement program of a company when they make that decision to take a job. Other studies show that there's greater loyalty to the company and lower turnover with companies that provide some sort of community engagement. And then other studies show that more educated people tend to be interested in companies that have a strong community engagement component that support community-based organizations. So those three things together tell you that you can help attract and retain higher quality employees with a community engagement program. I mentioned lower turnover, and what that lower turnover means is that the bottom line is going to be better because there are certain things that the companies won't have to deal with. They won't have to deal with the cost to train and to recruit and train new talent. You know, just like the customer pipeline, it's easier to keep a customer than get a new customer, right? It's the same way with employees. It's easier to retain and more cost effective to retain an employee than to recruit and train new employees. Companies that don't have to recruit those new employees won't have to deal with slowdowns on projects. Because if you've got a project going along and you have people coming in and out because of the revolving door of employees, that's going to be project slowdown. Lower quality customer care. If you've got people cycling through and they've got to be trained, your less trained employees will not have that kind of customer service that your more experienced employees will have. And then all of this means that more money goes to onboarding, and there's a risk of decreased revenue as customers say, you know, gosh, I'm not getting the service that I expect from you. So having a customer engagement program can help companies avoid that. Another benefit is employee skill development. Especially if you have younger employees, less experienced employees, that you want to help them grow in confidence, a lot of times you can find a skills-based project, a community-based project that they can get some experience on, and then they will bring that skill, that experience back to your company, and so that will benefit your company. So some examples might be somebody that is putting together a fundraising event, and they're learning the skills, the program management for putting a fundraising event together for a nonprofit. Benefits the nonprofit, but then benefits the company with that skill and experience. Or honing skills in design for marketing. Helping a nonprofit design a logo that they couldn't possibly pay for provides a younger marketing employee with some experience that will benefit your company. Another benefit would be employee relationship building and team spirit. One of the best ways to build team spirit is to put people together on a project. And when you combine that with the good feelings that you all express that you have when you're volunteering, that just kind of adds to that experience of team building. And you know, I like this guy. We worked together building a house at Habitat, and you know, I didn't think the guy could swing a hammer, you know, says the HVAC technician, but yeah, he actually can do some good work. And so that brings that team spirit together that can even, you know, can cross departments and that can come back to the company and not just be at the volunteer site. It also builds community awareness, especially in the biggest small town around Wichita, where people know what businesses are doing. And so when people hear that a company is doing good work and helping this nonprofit or volunteering there, especially social media campaigns. What do volunteer pitchers do for social media campaigns?
Blow it up.
Blow it up. Yeah. So because that increases that community awareness. And having a strong community engagement presence is noticed and appreciated. And that kind of positive PR is worth its weight in gold. So what are the options for community engagement? Well, you can write the big check. We all know the Von James big check. Loaned executive program through United Way is an option for some companies. Organizing a fundraiser, collecting donations of different things that can be provided for the homeless, serving meals at the Salvation Army, building a Habitat for Humanity house, I mentioned that one, packing meals to send overseas, providing an employee donor matching program, offering time off for volunteering. I could go on and on because there are so many options. But to figure out the best approach, questions need to be asked and answered. What community engagement program fits with the company's mission? If it doesn't make sense for the company, then it's not going to be a good fit. So you could just have, some kind of random volunteer effort, or you could be strategic in where where you give your money or where you put your time, especially when you're involving your employees' time. Another question, what would be the most meaningful for company employees? You know, maybe, okay, the owner, manager thinks something is great, but if it doesn't resonate with the employees, then it's not going to be helpful. What does the community need? Another important question. What are the nonprofit organizations that are the best fit with a company and the most effective in the community? You want your time and your effort and your employees' time and effort to be meaningful and effective. So with all of those questions, one final question I have is, what business owner or manager has the time and expertise to dig into these questions? Anybody? No, not many. But with Connecting Points Consulting, I can help bring the benefits of strategic community engagement plan to businesses while eliminating the pain and time drain of internally having to do the heavy lifting of coming up with that strategic plan for community engagement. Thank you. Do we have time for questions or no?
I do.
Well, when do we have time?
Quickly.
Okay.
What is fractional leadership? You say that, I have no idea what that
Okay, so fractional leadership is, let's say, in this case, a nonprofit wants to grow, they want to they need some development work, they want somebody to do grant writing. But so it's kind of like a retainer in a sense, that there's an agreement that I'll provide 2 hours, 4 hours a week or a month doing this kind of work for you.